What up, G Life? It's your boy MC Shadow back at you with another video. Make sure you guys like, make sure you guys comment, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if possible, share, because YouTube be hating on my channel. But what I wanted to talk about today was actually several things that I was getting asked by my subscribers. Questions that they had. You know what I mean? And about certain things and certain subjects, and not only that, but also to correct some of the haters out there as well. Because the questions were directed for each other, and a lot of misunderstandings. So I'm here to clear that out. Like the title says, we're going to talk about the crash unit, which is the gang unit. Not that many people, I guess, know what the gang unit is, or the crash unit. Which is, it's a trip because the movie Colors, that's what it's mostly focused on. It's focused on the crash unit, side of the law enforcement and all of that. And certain phrases that homies use and sayings that people sometimes get confused about what it actually means. So we're going to break all of that down. Starting off with the crash unit. What is the crash unit? The crash unit is a law enforcement division that was started by the LAPD roughly around the 60s, 70s. Por ahí it started. Basically, these police officers' jobs they were assigned to certain gangs, certain areas, where these gangs are located at. Their job was to know everything about the gang. Was their nicknames, what they call them, where they stay at, where they post up at, was their agendas, their routines, everything about the gang, and blocks had, police officers that were assigned to them. And these police officers were different. Their only main focus was the gangs, to target these gangs. Not to do anything else but these gangs. And these law enforcement officers were dressed in regular day street clothes, or maybe they had a jacket that said LAPD, but they were dressed like everyday civilians. They were driving in cars that were not black and white units, So driving regular police officer cars, regular civilian cars, Like, any car could be a law enforcement officer. I'm pretty sure you guys seen them when you think that there's a regular car, next to you. Next, the lights going, and you're like, what the hell? They're not all detectives. Some of them are crash units. So they're unmarked vehicles. That way they get the surprise on the gang member. They could watch them without them knowing. Roll up on them without them. Because you have lookouts in your hood. They'll do the whistle, or you'll have people that will give you the heads up that hey, the cops are coming, and no one knows their block better than a gang member. We're there 24/7. We know where to run to. We know, where's the shortcuts. We know, where we know our way around the block, homie. You know what I mean? We know how to get around. You get what I'm saying? So the element of surprise is the only thing that they had, at that time. Because when all of this was first coming out, it hit everybody by surprise. Let me tell you that much. You know what I mean? I remember one time we were posted on the block, and it was like about 12 of us. And earlier that day, we were posted, and the cops tried to roll up on us, but we had, the homie come and let us know that they were on their way or whatever. So when they hit, we seen the black and white coming, we booked. Bam! They didn't catch none of us, homie. You know what I mean? So we let a good while pass by, maybe like about an hour, and we met up back on, where we were posted at on the block. And we were chilling there for like another 3 hours. And then we seen a soccer mom van, that was coming like that, and a beat up red ass Honda, man. This shit looked like beat up. We were like, what the hell? Like who's that? Is that one of the homies or whatever? Next they were right like by where the driveway's at, and woo, they popped out, and everyone against the wall, and it was like, oh, mother effers. We wouldn't have ever. These vehicles look like some fucking shit that I'm telling you, fucking. Like the ghetto motherfuckers would be driving, but it was the Huda. You know what I mean? Dressed like ghetto people. You know what I mean? Like they blended in perfect. The same routine. Everyone gets a while, they search, see if everyone's on parole, probation, and blah blah blah, etc. Anywho, so they had the element of surprise. That's what the crash unit. It standed for Community Resources Against Street Hoodlums. and it worked perfect for them because one of the lines that they would use is that they came to crash the party. That's why they're the crash unit, you know. But the original phrase for that was the original meaning for that was the Community Resources Against Street Hoodlums. Is what they stood for. And they knew you guys. They knew everybody right there. They knew what they called you. Information that they got from certain homies that talk too much. From people around the block, you know, like, hey, you know that guy? Hey, what do they call him? And you know what I mean? Like, they grabbed intel about each and every homie. So they already, and they put it in the gang database. Now, going back to when people would be like, hey, how do you know that the Huda knows where these hoods are at and they kick it? You know what I mean? How do you know you're not letting them know where they're at? My boy, these are information that they've been having for years. And the reason how each and every law enforcement officer already knows this information is because it's in their database. Law enforcement share the same database. That's how they know wherever the hell you're at, wherever you end up, you go on the run, right? If you get pulled over and they run your name, guess what? Your name pops up and you have a warrant for your arrest in California. How do they know that? Because they share the damn database. Same with the gang database. You know what I mean? They share the same gang, you know, the gang database. So, you know, they just run your name, whatever, and your info pops out. So this is stuff that law enforcement has because all law enforcement share the same database. So it's not like you would have to know each and every police officer to know how do they get this information. And they have it because it goes into their database and they all share the same database. That's how they know that you have a warrant for your arrest no matter where the fuck you're at. You get what I'm saying? So that is why they have, you know. And if you're a gang member, 9 times out of 10, you've been arrested already. And they put your ass in the damn gang file. Well, at least a majority of homies. You get what I mean? Nicknames, your address, everything, my boy. These motherfuckers' job was to know your hood as good as you guys knew your hood. It was one of the most successful things that the LAPD has done, and it spread out to different states, and you know, it did come, you know, with a lot of corruption because a lot of these guys were corrupted. A lot of these guys used to you know, falsely arrest us, plant evidence on individuals, you know, drop them off in their enemies' neighborhoods, you know, used to beat them. They used to do all kinds of scandalous shit, and that's not, you know me, right here on my channel, I tell you how it is, and I have seen myself. You know, I have had scandalous shit that these fools have done to me. That's how I know. I'm not just going based off of assumptions. I seen it and been through it myself. Not all law enforcement. Some of them are cool. But a lot of these individuals have some kind of vendetta or some kind of grudge, you know what I mean? And they just lash out, you know, breaking the law, you know what I mean? And if your job is to maintain justice and maintain order and you know, everyone, you know, abide by the law, but how is that when you're breaking the law by doing all the scandalous shit that you're doing? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they needed more hours and you know, or they wanted to, you know, get a raise or whatever, and they used to falsely arrest homies and plant evidence and everything like that. That way it makes it seem like they were, you know, out there being a good worker. You know what I mean? When in reality they're being scandalous. And these are not speculations because a lot of these officers were under investigation and found guilty of this throughout, not only throughout the California state, but in other states as well. So these are not allegations. You guys can look it up. It's public record, all this information. You know what I mean? So, you know, but their jobs was to know your hood as good as you guys. That's what the movie Colors is about. You know what I mean? Their crash units and everything like that. You see them when they're in their low-key car, you know, and all, and you see how they knew the gang members already and everything. That actually, part of the movie is actually, that's facts. You know, a lot of these gang members know who the crash units were to their hoods, you know what I mean? Because it was the same fucking officers, because they were the ones assigned there to know your guys' hood. They already knew you guys and everything like that, you know what I mean? So they knew the get down. You know, you knew them as much as they knew you. That's just how it was. But that's what the crash unit is for those who are not aware of, like, you know, because people be like, wait, how do you know that they know that? Or how do you know? Or like, how is it that they, like, no, trust me, this is information they've been having. That is their job, to know where your hood is at, where you guys kick it. I'm telling you that. It's been their job. They've been having this info since like the 40s, my boy. get what I'm saying? This is not, the law enforcement know what these gang members look like already, know who they are by their nicknames and their, you know what I mean? This is shit that they already had. They can't take you to fucking court for coming out in a picture. Maybe if you're doing something illegal in that picture, yes. Remember, when they take you to court, the pictures are not used as evidence against you. You're not being convicted for the photograph. The only reason why the pictures are there is to paint the picture to the jury that you're this gang member. Look at these gang members, and to paint the picture of your persona, to make you look like you're some kind of demonio or whatever. But they don't get. The only time people get convicted for pictures is if they're holding a firearm, right? They don't have the actual firearm, but if in that picture you're holding the same caliber that was used to commit this crime or whatever, and if there's a witness that described the color of the caliber or the kind of caliber, and in the picture you're holding that that caliber and everything like that, there's a greater chance you could get convicted. The jury could find you guilty. I'm not saying that that's actually gonna work, but it's more of a chance that the jury will find you guilty. Is when the pictures are used for that type of sense, but it's never used to actually like book individuals. People need to know their California laws. You need to actually study. You want to break the law? Know your law. Know what you can say, can't say, do and not do. Because a lot of individuals just like coming on here and just talking madness. Like, bro, go educate yourself. Anywho, but that's what the crash unit is. Now, moving on to the different one, the different question I was asked. I was told, now, if you're a gang member, don't you want to move in silence? Like, shouldn't you want to not show your face? Because, now your enemies know who you are, and etc., etc. Move in silence means when it comes to you doing dirt. Means when you go and put in work. When you go do your activities that you do, whatever. You never brag about it. You never go around telling people. You never, post your shit on the internet. That's what it means to move in silence. It doesn't mean to move in silence like you not telling people where you're from and like keeping a low pro, like, because if a homie really wanted to be low pro or be off the grid and everything like that, then why do homies get their neighborhoods tattooed on their faces, on their heads, on themselves? Why do they even take group pictures? Why do they write on walls? Why do they go hit up people? Why is it when they get hit up they say their neighborhoods if it's meant to be a secret and kept in silence and etc., etc.? It completely contradicts everything that a gang member does. The gang members write on the walls because they want people to know this is their turf. They hit people up and let them know where they're from anyway because they want people to know where they're from. They get the tattoos on them because they want people to see that where they're from. They dress baggy and everything like that and post up in their hoods because they want to be found and yeah, it's me. What's up? I'm one of the homies right here. If not, they would just dress casual, not post up, no graffiti, no tattoos, no group photos, no. If that was the case. But you see that it's completely the opposite of what a homeboy does, because a homies wants to represent, let everyone know what his hood, because he's proud to be from his hood and proud to represent it, just like people are proud to represent that they're American or that they're Latino, Mexican or Salvadorian or whatever, orgullo, you know what I mean? Same within a homie. For those who don't belong a part of this culture, is gonna seem nonsense to you, and of course it is, because you're not a part of this world. You know what I mean? And and of course not gonna make sense to you, because this lifestyle is not made to make sense. It was not created to make sense. It was created to make no sense. That's why it's called la vida loca, the crazy life. Something's crazy because it don't make sense. But yeah, when it means move in silence, it means when you're going and doing dirt and stuff like that. You don't want to be posting that's what it means to move in silence, not to actually like be low pro. Because being low pro is kind of considered, like, homies could see that, like, man, this fool just doesn't want to get hit up, or this fool just doesn't want to get in no action. You get what I'm saying? Or like, like, you're just laying low. It's like, this fool doesn't even put in no work. He's never out. You get what I mean? You'll get I guess grilled for that. You know what I mean? In this world, because homie's gonna see that you ain't doing nothing. And like I said, some homies don't have to have tattoos, and some homies just casual and everything like that. But they're still out there, they're still hanging around with the group. You know what I mean? Like, they're still putting themselves out there. You know, regardless if they're not dress low pro or dress low pro or tattoos or no tattoos, or bald or not bald or whatever, etc. They're still out there in the group, posted in their hood, you know, in the activity. So therefore, they're still putting themselves out there. When you're hitting up your enemies, they're seeing how you look and everything like that. So they already know what you look like. You get what I'm saying? They already know what you guys look like because you guys go and hit them up and put in work. And now they don't know who you are. It's like, why is that though? Like, do you not put in no work on them? Or like, you get what I'm saying? Like, you see where it could be like a little like, let me just see, like, what the hell? You know, because you have gotten in fights with these individuals and all. You know, you guys clashed for years. That you guys know each other already. You know, so yeah. So that is explaining both of those, you know, questions for those who had them about the crash unit and about the moving in silence and the low pro. But if you guys have any other questions or whatever, leave them in the comments, and I'll try to do a video. MC Shadow, we out.